Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm Sade. Thank y'all so much for joining me for our astrology talk. For today, we are dissecting the planet Mercury and what this planet means in astrology. And of course, we've all heard of Mercury retrograde, so we understand that Mercury, of course, deals with communication as well as exchange of information amongst people. But understanding what your Mercury is in and the transits of your Mercury can really help you to see how you are as a business person, because Mercury deals with the exchange of skills as well as resources. And then looking at your Venus, which I am also dissecting if you haven't seen my Venus video, can show you how you are in relation to others. So let's go ahead and dissect what this planet means in astrology. Mercury is the planet ruler of course, information, communication, as well as comprehension. And that's a very important thing to remember with Mercury, because it's about how you're able to process the conscious world that you live in. And what I mean by the conscious world, I'm meaning the matrix. When you're dealing with the opposite sign of Mercury, which is Jupiter, you're dealing more with beliefs. What are my beliefs in a higher understanding, the universal laws? Mercury is all about the earth laws, the matrix, the systems that are set in place, the social constructs, the 48 laws of power, all of those different modalities of how we maneuver in our conscious world. How are you able to comprehend that, process that, and connect the dots so that you can connect with other people and exchange resources? So that's a deeper level of understanding Mercury, because yes, it rules communication, but Mercury rules the exchanging of skills, the learning of skills, and using those skills to exchange resources and build wealth with others. Usually, when I look at people's chart and I see their Mercury and Venus, I can tell, because those two planets are the Venus planets, or sorry, those two planets are the business planets. So I can usually tell, okay, how are these people in relation when it comes to business and when it comes to work, the work environment? Do they have charisma? And based off of the transits, I can see, okay, these are some areas that you might need to kind of soften a little bit in order to properly express what you truly feel and what's truly going on inside. Now, when I said that Mercury is the way that we consciously express ourselves, or the way that we consciously understand the world, Mercury is very close related to the sun being your personality, Mercury being how you communicate and express your personality. So when you look at your Mercury sign, it will always be the same sign as your sun, or it'll be the sign right before the sun sign, your sun sign, or the sign right after. And that's because Mercury is the fastest moving planet, and it is always moving with the sun. So go ahead and check out to see where your Mercury is placed. And it's probably going to be in a close conjunction to your sun. And if not, it might be a few degrees off in a different sign, either before or after. When you have your Mercury in a debilitated sign, that's going to be either in Pisces or Sagittarius. Reason being, these two signs are ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter is the planet of belief, it's the planet of spirituality, which is the opposite of Mercury. Mercury is the planet of the intellect, the mind, things that have to make sense in a concrete, black or white, systematic way. And that's why I say it's about understanding the matrix. What are the laws and the constructs and the ways of moving around in this physical world that might be opposite to the spiritual plane, the universal law? So when you have your Mercury in a debilitated sign, you might miss the steps of how the world works, because you have this deeper understanding of universal law, the spiritual way that things move, and how things should be in a more harmonious way. Because when you're dealing with Jupiter, Jupiter is all about expansion, good luck, spirituality, as well as religion. Mercury is about information. What are we taught? What are we told? And how are we able to communicate those things back to other people in a way that is understandable and digestible for others? So if you have your Mercury in the sign of, let's say, Virgo, Aquarius, as well as Gemini, Mercury is comfortable in the sign of Gemini. It is at its highest in Virgo, but it is completely exalted in the sign of Aquarius. So when you have it in those signs, this is going to signify a person who can quickly process information on the physical plane and quickly gather skills and concepts and teach those skills to other people in ways of exchanging information, exchanging resources, or just connecting with other people. So, understanding your Mercury sign is really important because it shows you how you actively communicate and express your personality, your conscious mind, and how well you can connect the dots to see how things operate. You can, a person with a strong Mercury can see the bigger picture, but they can see the dots and they can understand the detail of how things work, how things come together. And it's really in the detail that they're able to predict the future. That's why Mercury is exalted in the sign of Aquarius, because Aquarius can go ahead and see the consistencies and then say, because this has been consistent, this is what can possibly happen in the future. Aquarius being a fixed sign, it's going to now build something sustainable for the future. So if you have it in the debilitated sign, you can see, okay, you might see the vision, but you don't understand how things connect. And that's where you might miss steps and be a little unorganized or not really have the discipline or the push through, which you will have in the sign of Virgo or Aquarius. So Mercury is really super important, especially when Mercury goes retrograde. If you have Mercury retrograde in your chart, that is going to signify not a debilitation, but a more internal processing. This is someone who can really internally process things and maybe not communicate it in the way that is understandable to other people, but they are able to see things on a different level and it makes sense to them, because Mercury is about how you are able to process as well as how you're able to communicate. If it is retrograde, then when Mercury retrograde comes around, this is usually a time for you that feels very comfortable and normal, whereas other people, their Mercury might feel a little imbalanced, especially depending on where they have it in their chart. So I'm going to go ahead and dissect what the planet Mercury means in different signs, which I'm really excited to do because I haven't done that yet. So definitely stay tuned for when it's your Mercury sign and let me know if things resonate or if it doesn't. All right, y'all. Thanks.